You, the crowd.
Good evening. I would like to call to order the Kaiser City Council in regular session. It is Monday, May 19th, 2025, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Council President Starr. Here. Councilor Christopher.
Here.
Councilor Duran.
Here.
Councilor Parsons.
Councilor Parsons is excused,
Councilor Cross.
and Councilor Cross is excused this evening. Thank you very much. If you are able, I ask you to rise and all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. It is now my honor to welcome Rabbi Avraham Perlstein from Shabbat for Jewish Life here in Salem, who will be receiving the proclamation for Jewish American Heritage Month, and to acknowledge his beautiful family that is with him tonight.
All right. I'm not sure what number year this is, but I'm very honored for this. And thank you for this recognition every year of the contributions of the Jewish people. Today, I'm here both joyfully and with the circumstances of world Jewry, with a bit of a heavy heart, and that's what I want to address tonight, just for educational purposes and for us to all be able to do better in the future. Today, there's a new form of anti-Semitism that's growing and becoming more acceptable. The commonality this anti-Semitism has is that it's the same signs of the old hatred that has been drummed up by the Jew haters for the past 2,000 years. They're trying very hard to paint the Jew, or in today's case, the Jewish state, which is also the Jew, as a problem of today's world. That somehow the Jews are morally bankrupt, the same old hatred, just a new facade. Today's images of Jews in uniforms protecting our ancestral homeland isn't acceptable to the sensitive-minded, comfortable West or America. The assumptions and ideas shared along these lines is of aggression, and that somehow it's the Jew that's at fault all the time, and that somewhere we're filled with hatred, and it couldn't be further from the truth. The Jews are the one who introduced morality to the world via God's Torah. And we have been the champions of morality alongside every race and creed ever since. Behind the Jew in uniform is the same moral, upstanding Jew that stood at Mount Sinai and accepted the Torah from God there directly. Today I want to share a story of the Jew that the media, the press, the world don't want to show you because it doesn't fit the narrative that the world has been stuck on for the past 2,000 years. A Jewish man by the name of Steve Klar, a developer from Cincinnati, was traveling to Kentucky on Thanksgiving morning to check out a few properties. After an early morning flight on his way to the property, he suddenly felt very tired, so he pulled off to a random gas station in Kentucky. We know random doesn't really exist. So he was the only other person in the store, and he overheard the attendant behind the counter speaking Arabic. So when the attendant asked him how he was doing, he responded, Inshallah, which in Arabic is thank God. The gas station attendant asked him how he knew Arabic, and Steve said, I spent time in Israel, and I picked up some Arabic there. And then came the shock. The attendant said, I love your people. And Steve asked for clarity, so he introduced himself as Akram, and he said, I love the Jewish people, and here is why. I grew up in a refugee camp in Ramallah. I would stand on the side of the road looking for work for weeks. One day, a Jewish man by the name of Moshe stopped and gave me a job, along with my brother, at a chance to work on a construction project. And for several years, we were employed by Moshe. And he paid us well and on time. And then, in 1973, the Yom Kippur War broke out. The Arab invading armies caught the Jewish state off guard and tried to reclaim territories that were captured in the Six-Day War in 1967. The fight lasted about 2 months. During that time, Akram had no work. No work in a refugee camp meant no food for the 10 family members who were dependent on him. As soon as the war was over, Akram hears that an army commander is looking for him. An armed truck with a group of Israeli soldiers pulled outside his apartment. Akram, of course, was quite shocked and scared. But then out came Moshe, his employer. Moshe reached into his bulletproof vest and took out an envelope with cash inside of it and said, "This is the money I owe you for the work that you did prior to the war. I'm sorry, it's late." Akram says to this individual, to Steve, "Today I own 25 gas stations, truck stops, and parking lots. I have made much more money than the $700 that he gave me that day, but that $700 meant more to me than any money I have made any time in my life. I love the Jewish people because they are honest and hardworking people. They go out of their way to make sure that a family that he knows would have needed money in a hard time made sure to get paid as soon as he could." And I'll tell you what, I can't agree more with Akram. These stories are in the millions. The Jewish people have always been a humanitarian people, a kind people, a loving people, and an honest people. A people of peace to anyone who reaches out with an honest hand wanting to return in peace. So please, what I ask of the public as a whole is not to allow news articles of so-called experts to tell us otherwise. The anti-Semitism we're experiencing these days is as old as the Bible itself. Good people willing to stand up for truth and to support other good people is the only way we fight senseless hatred and bigotry. I'm honored for this opportunity to accept proclamation about Jewish Awareness Month, and I hope that we all continue to stand up for what's good, for what's right, and for what's peaceful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. And I also want to acknowledge this beautiful book, The 7 Principles Toward a Life of Meaning and Purpose. I look forward to reading it and sharing with the council and our staff members. So thank you for this very kind gift.
Absolutely.
At this time, I would like to read the proclamation and present a copy to you. And would you mind introducing your beautiful family?
Absolutely. My wife is out of town, so I have to bring them along with me. I'm not worried about it, but they were worried the whole way. Do we have to be quiet the whole time? So this is the second half of my family. I have 4 kids that are studying out of town. So the oldest one that's here is Yossi. He's going to have his bar mitzvah in just over a month.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
he's turning 13. And Rusya, who is, last year I spoke about my grandmother who was a Holocaust survivor. She was named after her. She's 10. And Rosa, who is 8. And this is Yaakov, who is 6. Big boy.
Yes, he is. Thank you.
He's watching all of them while she's away.
Yes.
Right?
Somebody's got to be the one. No. I will now read the proclamation as follows. Whereas Jewish American Heritage Month celebrates the contributions Jewish Americans have made in the United States since 23 immigrants from Brazil first arrived in New Amsterdam in 1654 in search of better opportunities and made America their home. And whereas the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution states, quote, Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, end quote, which creates the expectation that each of us shall have the freedom to openly practice and live out our faith in peace. And whereas as a religious and cultural minority in the United States, the contributions and experiences of Jewish Americans have often been omitted from our country's national narrative through bias, ignorance, anti-Semitism, and violence. And whereas on April 20, 2006, President George W. Bush proclaimed that May would be Jewish American Heritage Month. And whereas despite facing persecution and racism through millennia, the Jewish people have continued to use their values and skills to contribute to the economic, faith, cultural, and governance strength and diversity of communities like Kaiser. And whereas the people of Kaiser desire to fully and authentically celebrate and honor the influence and achievements of Jewish Americans in our community and American society, now therefore the Kaiser City Council, assembled here in regular session, does hereby proclaim May of 2025 as Jewish American Heritage Month, and ask all the people of Kaiser to join together in learning about and celebrating the tremendous achievements and contributions of Jewish Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, Jewish American Heritage Month. Would your children like to join me in the picture? And I would like to invite any Jewish Americans here to join us as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for the housing.
All right, we will now go to committee reports. And first up will be David Loudon for the Parks Report.
I'm experiencing slight balance problems, so forgive me.
Okay.
So we had a meeting on April 29th, and we did that to approve an Eagle project. They thought we had a meeting in April, but we did not. So we had a hybrid meeting. 2 members were on Zoom and the rest of us were here. So Daniel Nelson, an Eagle Scout candidate from Troop 105, which meets at St. Edwards, is going to make some garbage can holders for the Parks Department under the supervision of Mr. Robert Johnson. And he said the cans were needed, are sturdy and the staff and park users, and noted that the template has been installed in Kaiser Rapids for at least 2 years, and a lot of people have commented how much they like them. Mr. Johnson has come up with some changes to that, and he'll work with Mr. Nelson to build them with the design changes. And the committee suggested that Mr. Nelson make a drawing for the Parks Department for future use of volunteers with all the dimensions and all the materials. There was a motion made that we raise the grant from $1,000 to $1,500. Mr. Lawyer noted the increasing prices of materials and cost, and he wanted to make sure that he had enough money to do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No?
Just a big thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. I don't have anybody else signed up for a committee report. I did want to note, who's Greater Northeast liaison? Marlene. Oh, Marlene is. She's not here tonight, but there was an announcement that they did receive a grant for story walks from the Early Learning Hub.
Northeast? No,
Sarita is
Sarita.
Yeah.
northeast.
Right, but anyway, I didn't want to miss the opportunity to share that good news, and they'll be working with the library and other partners for the Story Walk program. I believe it's Early Learning Hub. So that was good news. Promote literacy in the neighborhood. Any other committee reports or neighborhood association reports? Then I would like to go to, I know you got here ready to dive in with the youth council report.
Yes, sorry about that. I had some car trouble getting here, but so far,
the end of the year is coming up, so I know that's a big relief to a lot of students right now. We have our final choir concert on June 3rd, I'm pretty sure, at our normal times, 7. It's a longer concert though, because it's all the concerts performing their final show. So if you are going to attend, be prepared to sit for an extra 2 hours rather than the normal hour and a half. I know that football's starting up soon for the next school year, so that's exciting. I know, pretty sure we have some new equipment that's coming in also. We have the girls' locker rooms being changed as well. So I'm pretty sure the basketball teams next year it's gonna be elevated. So that's exciting. And for the most part, it's the end of the year. Finals is coming up. There's not really much going on. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've had a very busy year with all of your activities. So you are graduating, that is correct?
Yes, I am graduating.
What are your college plans?
I am going to Chemeketa because I got Chemeketa Scholars, so I'm doing the 2 years free. I don't know what school I'm going to yet after, but probably in-state to save some money because I want to go to law school after college. So my plan is to study business for my bachelor's degree and then go into law school after.
Fantastic. Well, we've really enjoyed having you on council, and your last meeting will be June 2nd? Are you going to be here for that?
I should be here for that.
We'd like to do something to say thank you for your service this year.
Okay, thank you. I appreciated all of you guys having me throughout this year. It's been really fun and enjoyable.
Thank you. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Congratulations to the band and the orchestra that qualified for state this year. And the band competition was Saturday. I don't know how that came out, but
If I could comment, I'm pretty sure we got second. I think we won 2 second-place trophies at state. So
Wow.
they did really good this year.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Well, if it's anything like the celebration of music I went to at the Elsinore, well earned. It was a fantastic evening. Any other questions for a youth counselor? All right, thank you so much. Public comment, this time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We have a public hearing related to liquor license review, amending Kaiser Code Chapter 4, Article 2, and a resolution relating to the establishment of fees relating to liquor license applications. So if you're here for that, stand by. And before we go to Liam Stitt, we do have an email from Chris Adams, and this is in favor of the raise in fees for parks. So want to encourage you to read that. Okay, Liam, you're up.
Hello. So, first of all, before I get started on my regular thing, Madam Mayor, I am actually in the McNary Orchestras. I performed at the Elsinore. Thank you for coming. It was very fun, and for state championships, the combined Advanced Symphony Orchestra and the Wind Ensemble got second place for combined symphony, and then the Honors Chamber Orchestra, the highest orchestra group, tied for third. Actually, so very fun. My first time actually going to state championships, so really cool. I am here representing Scout Troop 105, the same one that David mentioned, with Daniel Nelson, who's our next Eagle Scout. We are planning a scouting expo that will happen this Saturday, the 24th, at St. Edward's. It's basically supposed to be like a miniature experience of what scouting is, scouting entails, and what you can do in the program. It's also a recruiting event. We've, not just for our troop, but for the other troop in Kaiser, 121, I believe, we've reached out to them, Troop 121, for help. We haven't heard back yet, but we are at this, as of yesterday, from what our Scoutmaster told us, we are really trying to figure out new ways for marketing and just getting the word out. We're having a lot of trouble with that. We don't really know who can come, so I told our Scoutmaster I might come here and tell you all about it, and then maybe if there's something the city can do to get the word out, put it on the website, maybe put in the Kaiser Times if there's time for that. But basically, an overview of what the event will entail is a Pinewood Derby race, a classic scouting event, but with a twist. It's a Lego Pinewood Derby. So there's a special track that we have, and we'll have a Lego tub where people can come and build their own carts and race them. Really interesting. We'll have a lever working station where we'll give you a strip of lever and we'll have different stamps and you can design your own name tag. We have a treasure hunt that our scouts have mapped out just around the building premises. We'll have a pool noodle regatta. We'll have just pool noodles with some flags you can stick into them to act as sails, and you can race them on a track. We'll have a pioneering demonstration where you can practice different knot tying, and this is open to anyone of scouting age. 5th grade to around 16 years of age is when they recommend you stop. Open to girls and boys. We're just trying to get everyone involved in scouting as much as we can. The Salem Kaiser area has actually had scouting growth. There's been more troops that have formed and more people involved in scouting, whereas areas like Portland have seen decrease. So our council area, which is Northwest Oregon, Southwest Washington, has really been pushing the Salem Kaiser area to get much more scouting on. So if there's a way that you can try and get the word out, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Okay, time for the event.
Oh, yes. I believe it is 11 to 3. I am not exactly sure on the end time. I'm relatively confident it's 3. I know it does start at 11 though.
Okay. So can you email us a flyer, some sort of materials, and has the troop created anything on social media?
As far as social media goes, I do not believe so. Our Scoutmaster, Joe Demanu, has had trouble with marketing, specifically with flyers. He sent a whole bunch to print. I think there was complications with printing, and he didn't actually end up getting them.
Oh my.
If you need more information, I can probably email. I can get some information for email, but as far as flyers goes, it might be a bit hard.
Okay, can you help with it? Can you help with it? I'm looking at Counselor Kohler because you have a long standing relationship with scouting.
Mm-hmm.
What I was thinking is I know some people up in the Seattle area that live and die Legos that are very involved in scouting, so I thought maybe I'd introduce them to you guys too.
Mm-hmm.
But what help, if you need some help with some publicity and some other things, give me a call, we'll see what we can do with it.
Okay,
Okay?
of course.
Really appreciate that. Thank you for bringing this to our attention and the opportunity to help promote great activities for young people and families in our community. Appreciate that.
Of course.
So if you get that to, any information to Counselor Collard and to Ms. Bissett, they will get it to us, and then we can help let people know.
Okay, of course.
Okay, thank you. That is everybody I have signed up for public comment. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? Okay. Council President Starr, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
Absolutely. Our consent calendar consists of item A, resolution authorizing the chief of police to sign a subaward or micro grant for body worn cameras. Item B, resolution authorizing the chief of police to purchase body worn cameras and associated equipment for the police department. And item C, approval of the May 5th, 2025 regular session minutes. And item D, approval of the April 28th, 2025 work session minutes.
Thank you very much. Are there any polls? Council President Starr?
I'd like to pull item B.
B, okay. Any other polls? Okay, Council President Starr?
I move the Kaiser City Council adopt the consent calendar as read for items A, C, and D.
Second.
The consent calendar, items A, C, and D have been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously with 2 absent, that's Cross and Parsons. Item B, Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just had some questions on that, so I don't know if we want to hear from Chief Copeland and Lieutenant Hine.
I brought Lieutenant Hine
Because you
to
knew
answer, because he did
I might
all
have
the
one more
work.
question.
So, yes, I anticipated that. So, Madam Mayor,
Yes,
Council President Starr, if Lieutenant Hine could approach
Yes, please.
and answer every question that you have. Good luck, Lieutenant Hine.
Thank you.
Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I just want to point out that I think this is the last piece of a camera project that was brought forward, I think it was 3 years ago. You and I had a conversation in Starbucks, and I think it was in February of 2022. So here we are. So I'm very excited to ask you questions about this final piece. My first question, curious, you, in the report or in the quote, you only have 25 cameras. Is that enough?
Thank you, Councilor Starr, Madam Mayor, and city staff. So for right now, with the amount that the body worn camera grant will match, that's 38,000. The 25 will get us for all patrol officers their own camera, as well as our traffic officers, 2 traffic officers, and then CSO, as well as 2 additional that would be either for myself to grab off of like a charging dock so I could assign it out to myself, or a detective or detectives that would need it as they go about their shift. But the real goal for the folks that are out on the road for the majority of the shifts is to get each patrol officer their own camera, and that would be enough.
Okay, thank you for that. And then just understanding, if we have 25 cameras, what is the 30 subscriptions for? I just want to make sure, I know there's like 3 transfer stations, but I couldn't find a way to get to 30.
Yeah.
Didn't know if you needed 5 more cameras to get to 30.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just looking at the quote here to reference the 30 subscriptions. The Learner LXP subscription?
Correct.
I think that has to do with the body worn cameras as well as the vehicles. That encompasses both of those.
Thank you. And then I have one more.
Follow-up?
Just one more question. Can you, for people watching at home, explain the pricing on this? Because it's the 5-year deal, I think, is something that would be good for the public to understand in terms of being responsible with the dollars that are being spent on this project.
Yes, thank you, Counselor Starr. So for the 5-year deal in regards to the body worn cameras, what that really gets the department, the community, is the body worn cameras, and actually it's going to be including a 3-year camera refresh. So the way that it was discussed to me is that it's similar, these body worn cameras are similar to a cell phone, if you will. You have a cell phone, you hit the 3-year mark, whether it's the battery's not lasting as long or it's just slowing down in general. It's good to have that option to get a refresh, the latest body worn camera option out there, so that we make sure that the equipment that we're utilizing is going to be functioning properly. That's also including warranty for these. We know it's equipment, it's electronics, right? So if it comes off an officer's carrier or their uniform and falls and breaks, that's going to encompass that 5 years as well. And then we have what's the word I'm looking for? The in-car camera video systems as well. We currently have in-car camera systems, and so that would also allow it to upload to the unlimited cloud storage. So it's really going to allow the police department to encompass not only body-worn camera footage that will be able to be stored in the cloud, but also our in-car camera footage. So it'll all be housed in the same location with the unlimited storage. So there's not like 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte limit. It's unlimited storage for that period of time.
So just to clarify, the 5 years, we don't have to pay for a subscription for another 5 years. So the price that we're paying in this agreement, in this contract, literally is all of the cameras and 5 years worth of storage, support, and maintenance and everything for 5 years.
Yeah, so for the one thing I would add is for the body worn cameras and all the storage for that, that's going to be 5 years. In the quote for our current systems, which are we call them 4REs, that's our current in-car camera systems. The storage for the unlimited cloud, that's currently on the quote for 2 years. And the reason being is just for the cost, to try to get it to the closest cost. That's a reasonable amount for the city and the citizens.
Thank you so much for your hard work on this project. I know it's been a while coming and for getting that grant to
Absolutely.
leverage. Thank you.
Chief?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilors, I just want to let you know, this has been 3 years in the making. And it's been with Lieutenant Hein got promoted about 1.5 years ago, and he's been working on this tirelessly for 1.5 years. He's visited Salem PD, Hubbard PD, Silverton, numerous agencies. He's worked with our district attorney's office. He's worked with our property and evidence to make sure this is the best product for us. And the cool part about this, and with City Manager Brown and with our IT department, I mean, it's been a huge project just to get us to this point, and we are moving forward. This is the last piece, which is super exciting. Our cops are really excited about this. It's been a work in progress, but he's done a phenomenal job to make sure that we're getting the best product for the best price. The grant was not easy to get, and they successfully got that. Working with, go back to Wanda Blaylock. She's amazing, but she's, since retired. And the cool part about it is it matches up with our in-car cameras. So when you turn your lights on for the car, the body camera comes on. So it just kind of all syncs together. It's a great product. It's going to make us more accountable, but it's also going to make the community probably safer and better. And we needed body cameras for a long time now, so thank you for your support in this project. And thank you, I just want to publicly say, I started this a couple years ago, and then he took off with it and has done a phenomenal job. So, yeah, kudos to you.
Thanks, Chief.
Bravo. All right, any further questions? Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So who is going to manage the cloud video storage and finding the video that we need for court and all that kind of stuff?
Thank you, Counselor Kohler. So my response to that would be, it's really going to be our property evidence staff that's going to be managing the video that comes in. The only piece that the officer has in regards to the video that comes in, whether it be in-car video or the body-worn camera footage, is labeling their evidence number to it, assigning a case number to it, and selecting what type of video it is. And in that sense, I mean felony evidence, misdemeanor evidence, was it a traffic stop? Then that's going to be going to the cloud storage. And then on Command Central Evidence is what it's called. Our property evidence specialist will have access to share the video as requested by, say, another agency, so police department, or let's say the DA's office sends them an email and says, hey, we need any and all digital evidence for this case. They would then be able to share it with the DA's office. And as Chief noted, myself and the property evidence specialist, Amanda Haig, really did some research into this and went to different police departments to see, like, with these different companies, how do they share the evidence with other agencies and other departments and even the DA's office. And when we went to Salem Police Department, we were thrilled with what we were able to see in the sense of, hey, how do they share Motorola body-worn camera footage and in-car camera footage? It was fairly simple. I'm looking at it, I'm not a property evidence specialist by any means, and it looked fairly simple to me, and it is going to allow us to move a lot of our evidence to digital format, which is also going to be huge for our department.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Thank you so much for being here tonight. Really appreciate you being here and the work that you've done. Council President Starr, would you like to put a motion on the table?
Oh, I can't wait to put this one out there. I move that Kaiser City Council adopt resolution R2025, authorizing the chief of police to purchase body-worn cameras and associated equipment for the police department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt resolution R 2025, authorizing the chief of police to purchase body-worn cameras and associated equipment for police department. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously with 2 absent, that's Cross and Parsons. All right, we will now go to our public hearing for the evening. Opening a public hearing on ordinance relating to liquor license review, amending Kaiser Code Chapter 4, Article 2, with resolution establishing fees related to liquor license applications. City Manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. The city recorder has this item.
Thank you. Ms. Bissett?
Mayor and city councilors, the public hearing tonight is related to amendments to the liquor license review process and to set fees related to the liquor license applications. Comprehensive review of the liquor license code has been conducted. The proposed options for changes were presented to you on April 21st at the city council meeting. At that time, you directed staff to send option 1, which was the administrative approval process, to the OLCC for their review, and then upon their review, for us to return it back to you for public hearing and adoption of the new code. The OLCC reviewed our proposed code language, and they're agreeable to the language in the proposed ordinance. State statute requires that we hold a public hearing to adopt the ordinance. So note that the fees were originally adopted by ordinance, and now that our code has, or we have a codified, or our ordinances are codified, it makes better sense for the fees to be adopted by the resolution. So that's why you're seeing the fees before you tonight. The final step is to complete this process tonight by taking a vote on the resolution and ordinance before you.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report or the ordinance before us? One of the things I understand from this is going to save staff time, save the taxpayers' money, and it's going to save the applicants' money. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Mayor. So, well, I'll give you an example. Last year, we spent about $1,500 processing new and change of ownership applications. And based on state statute, we're only allowed to charge $675. So, our current process also right now is very time consuming for the applicant because we have a public hearing process that takes quite a bit of time. So on average, it took us 36.5 days to process last year. So, yes, we'll be able to save quite a bit of money this next year by changing the process to an administrative process and also save quite a bit of time for the applicants.
Thank you very much. All right, do we have a sign-up sheet for the public hearing? Okay. Is there anyone here who signed up who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, and Ms. Bissett's going to check okay, there is nobody signed up to testify. All right, seeing none. Any further information for City Council before closing the public hearing? All right, the public hearing is now closed. Council President Starr, would you please put a motion on the table?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Lindsay, one at a time.
Yeah, that's probably the safest bet, just because unless the vote was going to be identical, might as well have them
I'll
separate.
do one at a time. Thank you. I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt ordinance number 2025 relating to liquor license review and amending Kaiser Code Chapter 4, Article 2.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt ordinance number 2025 relating to liquor license review, amending Kaiser Code Chapter 4, Article 2. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously with 2 absent, Cross and Parsons. Council President Starr?
I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R2025 establishing fees relating to liquor license applications.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2025 establishing fees relating to liquor license applications. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously, 2 absent, Cross and Parsons. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. We will now go to administrative action. Mr. Brown. And this is relating to the next steps on what we call the Utah property.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Just recently, in the last few months, we closed on the property at 4860 Bailey Road, which is on the southwest corner of the Kaiser Event Center campus. It's intended that we use the shop building from that property as a new evidence storage building for large pieces of evidence that we currently have stored elsewhere and which we're running out of room. The house on the front of Bailey Road is a 2-bedroom, 2-car garage, single-family home. The house is in need of a lot of repair, including new roof, new flooring, paint, appliances, all those things, if the city were going to rent it out. There's asbestos in the house and most likely lead paint, given the age of it. And that could be capped or left undisturbed. So we've estimated the cost of renovation at about $40,000. Doing some comps of properties for rent of that same size, they're running about $1,500 a month. So that could be $18,000 of income for the city. So that is one option. That makes the rate of return about 3 years on that investment. The other option for the home there at Bailey Street is to demolish the house and then flatten the yard. We would have to abate the environmental contaminants, which would be the asbestos and lead. That is probably going to range around $25,000 to abate that stuff, those contaminants. And then demolition would probably be $10,000 to $15,000. So we're probably looking at around $40,000 for demolition. So roughly same amount of money, gets you 2 different outcomes. One, a flat yard in front of the shop. The other one, a house that could be rented out for revenue. There have been many ideas thrown out for that property, which would include another ingress and egress from the Kaiser Event Center, on Bailey Road, whereas now it is off of Shamawa and Rickman. Possibly additional parking for the event center, consolidation of all employees to the same campus, which means moving Public Works employees over to this campus from where they are now behind Kaiser Fire Department. And so right now, the staff is recommending that we use a space planner to come in and collect the needs and give us some ideas on what, how we could use that property most efficiently. And for the house, our recommendation is to go the demolition route and to just level the front of it. Right now, the house is an attractive nuisance, and we fear it could be easily broken into and inhabited. So our recommendation is to give direction to staff to get the hazards testing done, and then we'll come back to you with an estimate for how much it would cost to abate the asbestos and lead. Also, I think there's a well in the garage that may have to be filled in, so that would also have to be remediated. And then and then move forward with getting a cost for the abatement and demolition. And then ultimately, at some point in the future, I'd ask you to consider letting us go out and find a space planner, come back and talk to us about our campus and give us ideas about, we very well could accomplish all those things in that property. It's about an acre in size. So we could add some to our parking, still provide ingress, egress. We have the equipment storage building, and possibly move our Public Works employees over here from behind the fire department. I did chat with the Kaiser Fire Department chief because there wasn't any sense in moving the conversation forward if there was no interest in them purchasing that property. And the chief was very interested in adding that to theirs. They are running out of dorm space at their fire department. So that is a possibility, and they're open to considering it. So with that, the ask right now is just to direct us to do the environmental testing, and so we can get a cost for the abatement and demolition and come back to you with a proposal for that.
All right, thank you very much. Before I go to questions, one of the things that, if council agrees, to also consider in the space planning is Emergency Operations Center. What kind of options it would give to us for being able to consolidate those functions as well on this campus. So anybody disagree with taking a look at, because right now we have EOC, kind of a little bit of space within the event center, but might there be an opportunity for a conversation on what that could look like? Any objection to at least having that conversation? Council President Starr.
I'm not opposed to the conversation. I think my preference would be to get this testing conducted so we know what abatement looks like, whether we demolish it or we do some restoration on it. But I think once we get that information, any conversations after that, I'd like to see it in a work session. And perhaps before we move forward with the space planner, really understanding where that money's gonna come from. And if there's another way to accomplish that space planning conversation without hiring additional people. And I think moving forward, maybe having future conversations with the fire district to see if they what that would look like for them to purchase that.
Great ideas. I'm gonna go to Councilor Duran and kind of move down the line.
So With the use of this building over there, what are we going to do about security? And is there fences going to be put up? That hasn't been talked about for cost on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Something doesn't
thanks
get
for
done.
asking the question, Counselor Duran. The property right now would have to be secured and also added cameras and then climate controlled, so heating and air conditioning. The building we have in our evidence, and these are cars that we're required to hold on to for long periods of time. That building right now doesn't meet a lot of the standards that we have, but climate control, cameras, and locks, secured locks on the building is probably the three, I would say, and I'd ask the chief if I missed anything on a big scale.
Chief?
I think the only thing, Madam Mayor, councilors, is potentially we'll have to look at maybe like a fire suppression system as well.
Oh, yeah.
But,
That's right.
I mean, it's a better option than where our cars are now, so, which is in the parking lot, yeah. And in,
Whatever the climate is in the day, that's the climate control.
Exactly.
Not great for longevity. Okay. Good, Counselor Duran? Okay, Counselor Christopher?
How big is the building that's over there that you're going to put the cars in?
Shop building.
Big.
If I had to guess, I'd say around 5,000 square foot, maybe 6.
Like, can you give me what by what? Okay.
I would say 100
20
by
by 30?
50.
Maybe 30 by 40. It's really hard, I'm sorry. It's really hard because the outside building, when you look at the building, is not all the shop. There's another part of that building that we're not going to discuss right now,
Okay. Is that the
that we
secret
found
right
out about during the process. Anyway, but the shop building itself, I think is probably 30 by 40, actually.
That seems
Concrete
more-
floor, one roll-up door to enter, to get into it, in and out of it on the east side.
there? And it's like a pole barn?
Yes. For lack of a better description, it's
Yeah,
a wood frame structure, I guess. It's not, I wouldn't call it a pole barn, but it's a wood frame structure.
And
Metal
do
sided.
we know that that is a safe building? Do we know,
In terms of safe, how?
like, we're going to have people in and out and around and about?
Yes,
Structurally
it's
sound.
structurally solid,
That-
yes.
those were the
It's
words I was
structurally
wanting.
sound, yes, it is.
Structurally
Absolutely.
sound.
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
It was that part of the building was permitted and
Oh, well, perfect then.
inspected, so.
Excellent then.
That part.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all.
All right, Council President Starr, anything further?
Nope, I'm good. Go for it.
Counselor Kohler, questions? Okay, my only additional comments are, thank you for bringing up about security for the evidence. That's going to be critical. And the other part is when we go into the work session, I really like that idea we have a more in-depth conversation on how we're going to use this part of the campus, is that consolidation piece, the efficiencies that can be gained for the staff. Not only having things conveniently close by, but also the collaborative work with the employees that are now housed at another location. So that would be good to know. That's all I've got. But I also, Council President Starr, I also agree that getting all the information for the demolition is going to be really important. All right, do you want to put a motion on the table to that effect?
Absolutely. I move to direct the city manager to get the hazards testing conducted on the single-family dwelling at 4860 Bailey Road Northeast and collect prices for abatement, demolition, and property restoration and return to council with costs.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the City Council directs the city manager to get the hazards testing conducted on the single-family dwelling at 4860 Bailey Road Northeast and collect prices for abatement, demolition, and property restoration and return to council with costs. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously to absent, that's Cross and Parsons. All right, other business. This time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new oral matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. City manager, does staff have any additional business this evening?
Madam Mayor and Council, I did want to bring up something that was timely that I discussed with the mayor this morning, and that is Senate Bill 253 is a bill that is aimed at authorizing the use of drones for law enforcement and giving a little bit more liberty. Did I?
238,
238,
is
okay.
that the one? Okay.
So we're talking about this piece of legislation that governs drones. And in some cases now, my understanding of it is that we're required to get warrants before use. So this would eliminate the need for some warrants in use. And I spoke with we communicated the chief back and forth to see if this was something that he was in support of. And he said that the chiefs of police, I think Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police, have been supportive of it. So with your indulgence, I'd ask that you better provide a little bit information on this than I have in my short summary. And then with your approval, authorize us to write a letter in support of the bill.
Chief, did you have anything further on this one?
No, it just moves us into the 21st century with drones and being able to use them in a more readily and available sense. I think it helps us out. I don't think that Kaiser PD right now is going to move in this direction in the sense that you have a fight call and the drone responds first before the cops, right? So, but there's other agencies such as Gresham Police and other ones within the state that are moving this forward where they're actually deploying a drone ahead of a cop. So it's in the right direction. Like I said, I don't think we're quite there yet. It would require a full-time position to just operate drones. But it does help other agencies within the state that have those capabilities to do that. And it just makes law enforcement safer, gives us more real intel before we get there. So, and at some point we would, I mean, there's some cases in which we would do this and we have done this, but it just requires a lot more paperwork right now. So this is, I'm actually surprised that the legislator is moving this forward, and it's actually in a very positive light, and it's moving. So I think it's going to pass, which is good.
It did move out of the House with bipartisan support, even with opposition from the ACLU.
So I'm looking at where it is right now. So it is in the A engrossed, and right now it shows that there is still at the House Committee on Judiciary. There's a work session scheduled for the 20th because, it went from the Senate, it's now on the House side. So this is very encouraging. And League of Oregon Cities has been working hard on this. It kind of came out of nowhere, but with a tremendous amount of support and a lot of thought that went into it. So I encourage everybody to go and read that bill. It is not long, unlike some of them, which are, voluminous. Direct staff to prepare a letter of support that we can submit to the House Judiciary in support of this bill. Any comments? We would need action tonight because the work session is tomorrow. So we need to suspend the rules, take up the matter of directing staff to draft a letter in support
Senate Bill
of
538?
538. Yep, 238, I'm sorry, Senate Bill 238.
238.
Yep.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules has been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously to absent Parsons and Cross. Council President Starr?
I move the city council directs staff to draft a letter in support of Senate Bill 238.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Kaiser City Council directs staff to draft a letter of support for Senate Bill 238. Question, would you like to authorize the mayor to sign it as well in collaboration with the staff?
All right. Can we have conversation about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I'm asking the question.
Is it, I mean, will it carry, some influence if the chief signs it as well?
I agree.
Yeah.
We could have all three, police chief, city manager, and then if you all want to, have the city council weigh in, I could sign it on behalf of the city council.
Yeah, Madam Mayor and Council,
Yes.
I think the authority here would be since the council sets policy, that the council, in the letter, we would state that the council voiced their support of it, and then whoever you want to sign it can sign it. But as long as that key piece is in there.
Okay, so we need to decide who we want to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor and the chief.
Mayor and the chief? I'm good with that.
Sound good?
We just want it to say, we just want them to know the chief of police is in favor of this, just like we're in favor of this.
And the council is.
Right, right.
We're nobody, and he's somebody.
Well, League of Oregon Cities has taken a very active role in this very quickly. Scott Winkles, when this began to emerge, got on it pretty quickly. So cities are writing letters of support as well to weigh in and make sure this gets all the way through the finish line.
Do we have, or can we create, letterhead, a letter quickly with both the police department and, logo on it and the city of Kaiser logo on it? So we see both of them on there?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
great,
that's
thank you.
easy. Counselor Christopher?
Yeah, it seems like a little thing, but I worked in that building for 25 years. We really are nobody. He really is somebody. And they will listen to police and the folks that have boots on the ground doing the job far more than they will listen to us, which is why we're pushing to have both the signatures and both the logos.
It shows collaborative communications between the policy body and the staff members as well, and I think that is powerful. Counselor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Brown, you indicated someone was fighting against it. I missed who you said it was.
ACLU, what I read in Oregon Public Broadcasting, and after talking with the mayor about it, I did some of my own research on it. But like I said, it was approved with bipartisan support from the Senate before it passed over to the House. And Oregon Public Broadcasting mentioned that the ACLU had
Thank you.
voiced concern over it.
Yeah, the Senate vote was 23 aye, 3 nay, and 4 excused.
It's pretty good.
Okay, anything further? Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously with 2 absent, Cross and Parsons. Thank you very much for doing that. Mr. Brown, does staff have any other business this evening?
We do not. Thank you very much for taking up that matter. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Council members, anybody have additional business to bring up this evening that was not on tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing none. Let's go to, okay, staff updates. Mr. Cleaver, do you want to start off?
No updates.
Okay, Mr. Brown?
No updates.
Thank you. Mr. Wood, are you now breathing? Post?
Well, the fun's not over just yet. We still have the budget hearing in June, but it is nice to have a little bit of I guess, a lull in the activity so I can catch up on everything else, but thank you.
And congratulations on the budget presentation award once again. Well done.
Thank you.
Ms. Bissett?
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Chief?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Councilors. I don't know if you guys were around on Saturday, but we had a parade.
Really?
I don't know. I saw a few of you in it. I just want to give a shout out to Officer Powell, who puts the entire plan together to make sure that the parade goes off without a hitch with the chamber. It's lots and lots of hours, and then it requires a lot of our personnel to be there. Big shout out to Salem Police, who had, I think, 8 cadets. Silverton came with one of their motors. Woodburn came. We can't do it without our neighboring agencies. It's too big, and too many people. But it went off very well, and again, Officer Powell did a phenomenal job putting the plan together and making sure that everybody's safe. So here we are, one in the books. Next one is the Festival Lights Parade.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Lawyer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. Just one thing for me tonight. Just want to announce Public Works Day is Wednesday, June 18th from 10 to 2 at Kaiser Rapids Park. Mark your calendars, come out, have a good time. We'll have lunch provided until we run out of food. Finalizing what it's going to be, so I'm not ready to say what it's going to be yet. But yeah, Wednesday, June 18th, 10 to 2, Kaiser Rapids Park.
Thank you very much. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Lawyer, I understand that we have about ready to open up some water pipe somewhere. What's that really mean to our citizens?
Yes, thank you, Councilor Kohler. The water main replacement project on Leo and Noon, that the new pipe has passed all the testing, disinfection process, and the contractor started today hooking up the residents to the new pipe in anticipation of abandoning the old pipe. They really shouldn't notice a whole lot of differences. Maybe a little bit of increased flow because we did increase the size of the main for fire flow protection. So there is better fire flow on Noon Avenue than there was before because of the size of the pipe. But as far as services to the homes, they shouldn't see much of a difference at all.
Perfect. Thank you for all the work that you guys done on that.
Thank you.
Great question.
Oh, I have a question.
Council President Starr?
Never mind. I'll ask it later.
Okay,
Just one more question. Just one more question.
just one more question.
Just one more thing.
Mr. Witham?
I don't have anything tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Lindsay?
I'll simply say, good to be back from a somewhat short vacation. And happy to see everybody around here. Coming soon will be, in code changes, will be how we deal with the fire code, as well as how we deal with erosion control. So those things are coming.
Sound fun.
They're coming to you very soon. But these are just as we're trying to clean up our old ordinances and change things that should probably be ordinances and not resolutions and things like that. Those are the things that are coming bubbling to the top. So you'll see them soon.
Okay. Yep, that's where we get to do all the fun stuff now that we got this whole code thing. All right, thank you very much. Council member reports. Councilor Duran.
Not much other than Kaiser Fest. That's been my last couple weeks, getting ready for that. Doing setup and golf tournament and pancake breakfast. And then getting... Okay.
We're getting some sign language over here.
A couple of us are getting ready to do a benefit concert at the Bad Space. I'm trying to remember the Bad Space, for the Gold Star Memorial. So that's May 31st. Come see one of us counselors for information.
All right.
Thank you.
So.
Huge report, huge vote of confidence there. Thank you, Councilor Duran.
So
Councilor Christopher.
I'm working with Councilor Duran. He was so much detail. We are going to be sponsoring a private concert from 7 until 9 on May 31st. That is not Memorial Day. It's the weekend after. And it's going to be at the Bad Space, which is
Sandy M. Brewing.
Thank you. Sandy M. Brewing. And we're calling it Breakaway to Summer. And so we will also be auctioning off vacations and baskets for staycations. So, and the entry is so cheap. It's $20 to get in. We're going to sell 100 tickets, and we're going to try to raise $4,000 to $5,000 for the Gold Star Family Memorial. And it's on the 31st of this month, and we'd sure appreciate you coming by and enjoying the music with us and buying vacations and staycations. The other thing I want to say is, freaking lived at the art fair this week, and you know, when you hear on the news, gosh, the winds were 23 miles an hour, that doesn't sound that bad. However, when you're at the art fair and the artist tents are blowing over, even as they've been weighted and secured in the ground, I now know what 23 miles an hour really looks like. And that was Saturday afternoon, and you can't believe the camaraderie and the neighborly spirit that took place with all of the artists. We had 2 artists that had to leave. They had some of their original artwork broken. The rest of them rallied around them, and all of them stayed. And then Sunday was a perfect day, and so they were able to do a lot of business on Sunday. I want to thank everyone who helped in that effort, and including the city councilors who wore their art fair t-shirts in the parade. I really appreciate the support for that community art fair. It grows every year, and we had 40 artists this year. These are 40 independent business people, and the art fair is Oregon only. So these are Oregon businesses. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the support.
Thank you very much. It was very enjoyable, I would agree. Win notwithstanding. Council
Oh,
President
I'm
Star.
sorry, Mayor, you did not win.
I noticed.
The mayor bought tickets. One of our artists painted a painting during the demonstration, beautiful painting, Bridget Miller, who's done some murals in the museum, and the mayor really wanted it. She really wanted to win it. And I said, I'll text you immediately if you do.
Still waiting.
I know, but you'll have a chance next year. She's gonna do it next year too. And another volunteer won it, so I apologize, Mayor, but thank you for the support.
Absolutely glad to support, and I know it's going to go to a good home.
Yep.
All right, Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, Budget Committee and Kaiser Fest was on the schedule, setting up and volunteering.
Beer server, breakfast cooker.
Yes, I was serving, yes, pancakes, eggs, beer, you name it.
Not mixed together.
Not mixed together.
Well,
maybe some people. I do have a question. I think we have Soggy Day at the Park coming up on Saturday.
We sure do.
All right, so that was gonna be just one more question, Mr. Lawyer. So I don't know if you want to share about that.
Sure, I don't have a lot of details. That's being put up by the Clyde Creek Watershed Council. I do know that we will have a backhoe and staff there to man the backhoe and let the kids play with it while during the event. I'm not sure if bouncy houses are coming back or
Yes.
boat rides are coming back.
Yes.
10 to 4 on Saturday, right?
But it's 10 to 4 Saturday at Kaiser Rapids Park.
Great, thank you. And then the other question I had, Mr. Brown, maybe couple things I've seen sporadically are about the information on the pavilion, the survey and the consultant. Maybe talk a little bit about where people can find that and how to give that input. I got stopped a couple times during Kaiser Fest and I wasn't sure where the tent was. So that was a surprise to me. But yeah, so if you could maybe talk about how our residents could give input and find that information.
Yes, might need some help, but let me give it a shot. They were at the Kaiser Fest in the vendor area between noon and 5, and we had about 50 people participate in it. And very nice boards. I'll shoot a copy off to you of the dots that people placed on it. And I want to say the survey is connected to our, if we don't have it on our website, we will get it up quickly with some information. We have a stakeholder meeting coming up soon for different specific groups, and we want a couple of people from each neighborhood association and the Parks Commission, some of the sports that might be there, the Chamber of Commerce. I sent invitations out earlier this evening.
What's the date?
On the 29th of this month, yep.
Of May.
May, yep. So, 6 o'clock, yep.
The what?
What? That's
This, the town hall? Are you talking about the town hall or something else?
Nope, this is a different, the town hall is on
27th.
Tuesday, the 27th.
Okay.
And then this one, the stakeholder group is by invitation.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And I'll figure out what, about the survey information. I can't remember
Okay,
that.
Thank you.
okay. Counselor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's a couple of things. I was able to attend the Kaiser United for Counselor Parsons. And she was out of town. Ms. Vaughn gave a presentation on the ways that the community event center can be used by all members of Kaiser United. And that was kind of informative and exciting. I got to go to the commissioners' discussion. We got to meet with all three of the county commissioners. City Manager Brown and I were there for that. Pretty exciting day. And then later got to go to some Kaiser Fest things. And Kaiser Fest, there's a few things that happened through that. And next week, not this week, but next week is Kaiser Community Dinner. Hopefully we'll all get to come and participate in that. And looking forward to all kinds of good things going on, including our discussion on the UGB expansion coming up.
All right, thank you very much. Youth Counselor, did you think of anything between then and now that you wanted to add?
The only thing is that tomorrow we have our spring fling tomorrow at our school. So that's going to be fun. Based off what I know, we're going to have students from our APT program performing outside like we did last year. We're going to have another inflatable obstacle course in the gym. And I think this year we have some new clubs that are selling things for their programs for next year.
Wonderful. All right, spring fling, sounds great. Just to wrap up, again, thank you everybody for coming out and enjoying Kaiser Fest and the Riverwalk Art Fair. I went to, as mentioned earlier, the McNary Night of Music at the Elsinore. Again, so proud of our musicians here in the Salem-Kaiser School District, especially our McNary South Lake musicians. Attended the Latino Business Alliance on the 8th, and I did post about that presentation from WaFd Bank. Went to the Region 3 meeting with Councilor Christopher out in Independence for League of Oregon Cities. Really good discussion about revenue. And on the 10th, went to the Joys of Living Assistance Dogs graduation. And after our town hall here about urban growth boundary. Wonderful to see the dogs, the people, the adults in custody, everybody working together to train these dogs, pair them up, and help so many people in our community. In addition to the city budget, I was on the budget committee along with Councilor Cross for the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance, and a recommended budget has been moved forward to the entire board for their consideration. Thank you to Misty Sorty from the executive director, and Amber Matheson from the Council of Governments for outstanding work on that budget. Coming up, we've got Legislative Committee for the Council of Governments, and I've also been keeping track with the League of Oregon Cities, their updates, which we get email invitations to those with the bills that are moving toward the grand finale of the legislature. So this ride isn't over since the revenue forecast came out on the 14th. Now we all know the real food fight begins. I've been invited to present at the Mid-Willamette Realtors membership meeting with regional mayors. So that's going to be interesting. It's on the 22nd, which is, I think, Thursday. This is so Monday, after a very busy weekend. And then also on the 22nd is the Turnaround Awards Luncheon. Thank you to the Rec and Valor Mentoring for continuing this wonderful tradition of honoring students throughout the school district who have made a significant change in their life trajectory with the support of family, friends, teachers, and staff, and recognizing those achievements. As mentioned, Soggy Day at the Park is going to be on the 24th. Please come down for that. It's going to be free and fun. And if it's soggy, we're going to be there. If it's not, we're going to be there. It's just going to be a great time. Thank you to the Clagger Creek Watershed Council and all the sponsors. the town hall. And then also on the 29th, I don't know who all signed up for it, is the SEDCOR Business Forum Luncheon with the economist Tim Dewey. And that is always very, very informative. So that is all I have. Agenda input, we will meet in regular session on June 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. We will have a joint work session with the Community Diversity Engagement Committee on June 9th, also starting at 6 p.m. And then we will be in regular session on June 16th, also at 6 p.m. Is there anything, above all, vote. If you still have that ballot and it's still in your possession, you need to bring it down to City Hall. That box is open 24/7 until 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Tuesday. Then it closes up. So get that ballot in pronto. And,
12%.
oh my word.
What?
You're there, 12% votes in.
Okay, ballots in. Kaiser shows up. Let's get those ballots to show up, please. Get the ballots in. Every election counts, every vote counts. Please get your ballots in within the next, you've got 24 and a half hours to get it in. And it's really, really short, not a lot of work. Make sure you turn it over because there's something on the back. Shemeka is on the back. So vote, vote, vote. Only once. All right, anything else for the good of the order? But at least do it. The time is, before we adjourn, actually, I'm going to read this. Okay. The city council will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660, parens 2, parens I, to review and evaluate the employment-related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body, a public officer, employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing. Representatives of the news media shall be allowed to attend. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decisions will be made in this executive session. The city council, along with the city attorney, may attend. The meeting will take place in the Public Works Planning Conference Room. The city council will not be reconvening in open session upon the conclusion of the executive session. So with that, we are now adjourned from the regular session.